adoptions of orphans, abandoned, surrendered children, relative adoption, adoption by step parents, laws, regulations, and procedure. We are having speakers, those are CARA consultants. We will be having Aparna Sharma madam, Shalini Piyush madam, Vinny George madam, and Shirish sir. I briefly introduce them one by one. Uh, Aparna Sharma madam is the postgraduate in diploma in management from Amity University, and she is currently working as senior professional at Central Adoption Resource Authority. Her present responsibilities there include monitoring of adoption programs in the nine northern states, grievance handling of the issues related to stakeholders involved in the implementation of the adoption program, guiding and hand-holding and training the stakeholders. She had developed some content IEC for information and dissemination during the training programs. She has also conducted various state level training programs and online webinars for various stakeholders in the adoption program. Secondly, we are also having Shalini Piyush Madam. Shalini is the senior professional in CARA. Uh, she presently serves in inter-country department looking after inter-country adoptions. She serves, the responsibilities includes scrutiny of cases, checking the suitability of prospective adoptive parents for adoption, documents, the related and required processing of no objections for adoptions as per the provisions of Juvenile Justice Act and Juvenile Adoption Regulations 2017. She interacts with authorized foreign adoption agencies and specialized adoption agencies to facilitate the process of inter-country adoptions. So, while sharing problems and queries, few of you were having problems regarding inter-country adoptions, etc. So, after this session, you can put the questions to
Ma'am, you are not audible.
Madam, you are not audible.
Madam, please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, please continue.
Yes. We are having four speakers right now for this second session. First is Aparna Sharma. He is the senior professional at CARA. She is postgraduate in management from Amity University. She is currently working as a senior professional at CARA, and her responsibilities include monitoring of adoption program in 9 northern states, grievance handling for the issues related to stakeholders involving the implementation of the adoption program. The second speaker is Shalini Piyush Madam. She is also the senior professional in CARA, working there since October 2018. She presently serves in the inter-country department looking after inter-country adoptions. Her responsibilities include scrutiny of cases, checking the suitability of prospective adoptive parents for adoption, verifying the documents required, and processing the no objection certificates for adoption as per the provisions of JJ Act and adoption regulations. She also interacts with authorized foreign adoption agencies and specialized adoption agencies to facilitate the process of inter-country adoptions. So the questions relating to foreign country and inter-country adoptions, those she would be dealing with in her session. We are also having Mini George Madam. She is also the senior professional with CARA. She is working there since September 2017. She is handling in-country adoption grievances of specifically Maharashtra, Gujarat, Goa, and Diu Daman. And the next speaker in this session is Advocate Shirish Kumar. He is working mostly on civil, criminal, matrimonial, and adoption related cases. he is presently working in Kara as the junior profession lead. So all four would be taking the next session right now. The session is on the topic in-country and inter-country adoption of orphan, abandoned and surrendered children, relative adoption, adoption by step-parents, and the laws relating to there, and regulations and procedure. So I request the speakers to take charge. Thank you.
Good morning, all.
Good morning, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Little problems turning on my camera. I think.
हो चालेल मॅडम, ऑडिओ क्लिअर आहे आपला, बोला.
Audio is clear, madam. You can proceed.
What I can do is I'll start sharing my screen with the PPT so that
Yes.
continue with the session.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I'll just take a minute because I'm unable to share the PPT.
Okay, madam.
Ma'am, I think we will have to start it this way only because I'm unable to switch on my camera and connect you with the PPT. I'll take you through the whole PPT. I'll narrate the whole session if that is fine.
Yes, madam. No issue. You can start with the session, madam. Thank you.
Okay. I'll be taking you all. First of all, good morning all, and we'll be discussing the adoptions under the JJ Act and the Adoption Regulations 2017. We'll be starting with the fundamental principles governing adoption. Till now, what Nilima ma'am has taken, she's explained more about the orphan, abandoned, and surrendered child, the child in need of care and protection. And she's also taken the details about the agencies or the functionaries involved in the implementation of the program. So if we go through the JJ Act, it talks about the fundamental principles governing adoption, which talks about the adoption shall be resorted to the right to family for an OS child. The child's best interest shall be paramount. In which, in all cases, when we deal with the adoptions, we as people in Kara also think about the best interest of the child first. I think now the screen is visible.
No, madam.
No, madam.
No, madam. Sometime.
You have to continue this way only. The
Yes.
principal placement of the child in his own socio-cultural environment. The safeguards have been kept in place in the JJ Act, wherein it is first and foremost seen that the rehabilitation of the child takes place in his own socio-cultural environment. And all adoption shall be registered in Carings. Carings is the child adoption resource information and guidance system, which is an web portal which is hosted by Kara on Kara's website. It creates a platform for transparent adoptions wherein details of child and the agencies and the parents are entered. The referrals are sent online. It is a totally web-based platform to increase transparency in the program. Then maintaining confidentiality is mandatory in all adoptions as per Section 74 and Regulation 3C of the Adoption Regulations. The We will now go on to the process of declaring a child legally free for adoption. All children that come into the system, often abandoned and surrendered, they have to undergo a process wherein they have to be declared legally free for adoption by a child welfare committee to be legally, the bond with the biological family has to be severed, and this child would now be known as the state child, and only after that the child can be sent on referrals to parents. In this, if we talk about the process of declaring a child legally free for adoption, any child often abandoned or surrendered, as per section 31, the mandatory reporting to the CWC has to happen in 24 hours of receiving the child. This mandatory reporting can be done by anybody who receives the child. Could be a police person, could be a common man, could be a child line personnel. Anybody who receives the child has to contact the nearest police station, DCP or the CWC, and all of them have to ensure that the child is produced before the CWC for an interim care in 24 hours of receipt of the child. The child, once produced before the CWC, is placed in a SA or a CCI nearest in that district for immediate care of protection and to take care of the child till all the inquiries are done. After that, once the child is placed in a SA for interim care, the procedure starts with the DCPU. The DCPU, the District Child Protection Unit, has to conduct an inquiry wherein he basically finds out where the child belongs. If the biological parents are traced, the child is restored back to the biological parents, and all efforts are laid down to find the biological family. In case in the due time and the stipulated time, we do not get the reference of the biological parents or the biological family of the child, based on the recommendations of the DCPU, the dossier is moved to the CWC for declaring the child legally free for adoption. For a child who's below 2 years of age, this time period is for 2 months. And for a child above 2 years of age, the time period is within 4 months. Now, if we dwell upon this Child Welfare Committee, it is a 5-member committee with at least a woman member. The Child Welfare Committee has to be ensured by the state government in every district, The committee shall function as a bench and shall have powers conferred by the CPC 1973 on a metropolitan magistrate or judicial magistrate of first class. The committee is headed by the chairperson. The CWC is authorized to dispose cases for the care, protection, treatment, development, rehabilitation of the children. In the program, we call CWC the first person who will know that the child entering into the system, because the CWC only gives the interim care order for placing a child in an agency, then declaring the child legally free. Basically, the whole rehabilitation and the protection of the child is taken care by the CWC of that district. The CWC has the power to deal exclusively with all proceedings under this act relating to children in need of care and protection. The district magistrate is empowered to conduct a quarterly review of the functioning of the CWC would be the district magistrate again. In case any decision taken by CWC has to be readdressed, it has to be readdressed to the district magistrate of that district. The process of declaring an orphan or abandoned child. An orphan child, if we talk about the definition per se as per the JJ Act, if I could read you through the definition of an orphan child, it says, who is without biological or adoptive parent or a legal guardian, whose legal guardian is not willing to take or capable of taking care of the child. So basically, a child who does not have a guardian, adoptive parent, or a biological parent, abandoned child who's been relinquished by the biological parent, natural guardian, anybody, and could be found anywhere by any of the person reporting the child. Both of these children are then produced before the CWC as we further discuss, and the copy of the interim care order and the report is submitted to the local police station within 24 hours of receipt of the child. The interim care order is given by the CWC to the SA till the child's inquiry is pending. The agency takes care of the child. All its needs are being taken care of. Post that, a photo publication of the child is done within 3 days by the DCPU in a local newspaper and a national daily in view of tracing out the biological parents or a legal claimant of the child. Entering the details of this child, an orphan abandoned child received by the SA, has to be entered into the missing portal, Track the Child, and Khoya Paya. Process of declaring orphan abandoned children legally free for adoption. Social investigation report has to be completed in 15 days by the DCPU, and the DCPU within 30 days to enable CWCs to pass a final order within 4 months of the production of the child. The CWC to declare the child legally free for adoption if biological parent, legal guardian could not be traced out within a period of 2 to 4 months. As I discussed earlier, for a child younger than 2 years of age, this period is within 2 months. It talks about within 2 months. It can be less than 2 months also. We don't have to, the CWC does not have to wait for 2 months in totality to complete this process. If all the papers are in order and the dossier has reached the CWC, they can even declare a child below 2 years of age within a 2-month period legally free for adoption. Similarly, for a child who's above 2 years of age, this time period is within 4 months. The major problem at times that we receive here is non-receipt of the police report. The police at times does not give an NOC to the child that they are unable to trace out the biological parent or the legal guardian or the legal claimant of the child. In this case, the declaring of the child legally free for adoption in a period of 2 to 4 months is normally delayed. The order of declaring the child legally free for adoption has to be signed by 3 members of the CWC, which is mandatory. We have 5 of these. It is a 5-member committee, but at least 3 members have to sign that order for declaring a child legally free for adoption. The siblings or twins, the order to declare them legally free is 1. That means a single order has to be given by the CWC to declare siblings or twins as legally free for adoption, because the siblings and twins have to be kept together. The certificate declaring the child legally free for adoption is uploaded by the SA on Carings, along with the child study report and the medical examination report of the child. The child is now ready to be sent on the referrals as per the system requirement. This was the process wherein we were declaring a child legally free for adoption, a child who was an orphan or an abandoned child. The process for declaring a surrendered child legally free for adoption is a bit different from the other one. In case of a surrendered child, the parent or guardian wanting to relinquish a child due to physical, emotional, or social factors beyond their control is surrendering the child, then the women member of the CWC has to be present. This counsel, they must be counseled before surrendering the child, and all the surrendering and the counseling should happen in camera. A surrender deed should be executed by the parent before the CWC, so that the CWC can place the child in interim care with the nearest SA or CCI, and tell the parent or counsel the parent that they have around 2 months consideration period, that means 60 days reconsideration period. If they want to take the child back after the 60-day period, the CWC can declare the child legally free for adoption. Any surrendered child, in case of a surrendered child, no public notice or advertisement shall be issued by the CWC, just to keep the privacy of the surrendering parent. The CWC shall order declaring a child legally free for adoption after the expiry of the 60 days reconsideration period from the date of surrender. Now, both after the child has been declared legally free for adoption or surrendered child, again, the agency would prepare the child study report, which will be done by the social worker of the agency, and the medical examination report, which will be done by the doctor of the agency. And all these three documents are uploaded on Carings by the agency so that the child is now ready to be sent on referrals as per the system requirements. If the child, both in all the three cases of an abandoned and surrendered child, the legally free certificate, the CSR and the MER is now uploaded. That means my child is ready to be sent on referrals. But sent on referrals to parents, I have to first assess that any parent, if I am suppose I'm an Indian and wanting to adopt a child, I register on Carings, but I need to be assessed. I might be eligible, but my suitability has to be assessed. I need to be ascertained by a process to declare me eligible and suitable to adopt and to receive a referral. For this mandatory requirement, after registrations, parents have to undergo a home study report. When the parents register on Carings, they select a nearest specialized adoption agency to their habitual residence for conducting their home study report. This home study report verifies and validates all the documents that the parent has uploaded on Carings while registration, checks the authenticity of the original documents vis-a-vis the uploaded documents, talks to the parents and counsels the parent about the extended family support that they'll give in case of any mishap or misfortune that might occur in future, their motivation for adoption, and finally recommend them based on the eligibility, how suitable the parent is to adopt. In this case, if parent is eligible to adopt a 0 to 2 but suitable to adopt a 2 to 4, the counseling of the social worker helps the parent to change their criteria from 0 to 2 to 2 to 4. Basically, the social worker plays an eye and the counselor to the PAPs to make them informed about the process and prepare them to adopt a child. The home study report is prepared in the format as given in Schedule 7 of the adoption regulation. This home study is valid till 3 years. If for any case the parent does not get a referral or do not adopt a child in 3 years period, then they have to revalidate their home study report by giving them fresh documents, and a fresh home study is done based and their suitability is assessed again, based on which they'll be sent on referrals. PAPs are declared suitable based on the HSR that we've already dwelled upon, and only then they are waiting for a child referral. In the whole process where my parent is ready and have decided, registered to adopt, the child is registered in the agency, the legally free certificate has been done, the CSR has been done. The major role is played by Carings. Carings, the online application, has basically two databases. One that stores the information of the children, and second, the database that concerns the PAP. The system has its algorithms in place. When the seniority of a parent becomes due, a referral is sent to a parent. The parent can be an NRI, OCI, foreigner, or a resident Indian parent. The seniority list maintained in the Carings is a single seniority list from the date of registration of a parent. That means I might have opted for a different state, different age group. The system maintains a single seniority list from the date of registration. Now we will talk about the types of adoptions under the JJ Act and the Adoption Regulation 2017. I hope we do. If anybody has a question, we can take it here, or we can start on with the process.
We can proceed, madam. At the end of the session, we can take the question answers.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you.
There are 5 types of adoptions under the JJ Act and the Adoption Regulations 2017. They're divided into 2 categories: in-country adoptions and inter-country adoptions. The in-country adoptions talks about adoption of an orphan, abandoned, surrendered child, relative adoption, and adoption by step parents. Whereas under the inter-country adoption umbrella, we talk about adoption of orphan, abandoned, surrendered child and relative adoption. We will now go on to our process involved in case of in-country adoptions. By any chance, are we able to see the slides? Because my system is showing that we are already sharing a screen.
Yes, madam.
Yes, 11 number
Yes.
slide.
Yes,
We
madam.
can see, madam. We can see the slides.
Now we'll talk about, we will now discuss about the in-country adoptions. And in country adoptions, we will talk about this flowchart of an OAS children. If you can see on your left side, you'll have three boxes that are in green. On your right side, you'll have three boxes in a lighter shade. The three green boxes talk about a parent registering online on Carings, the home study being conducted by a social worker, and the PAPs entering their choice and eligibility as and are referred a profile of a legally free child. Whereas the right side boxes talks about an OS child was produced before the CWC, placed in a CCI or SAF for immediate care. The legally free was done by the CWC, and now the child was sent on referral to the particular PAP waiting on based on his seniority. Once a parent receives the child on referral, the communication is sent through the registered mobile number and the email. They have 48 hours as stipulated in the adoption regulations, but in the COVID times that has been relaxed to 96 hours. So the parent have 96 hours for resolving a child, wherein they see the photograph of the child study report, and the medical examination report. Once the PAP reserves the child, then they have 20 days as stipulated under the regulations, as mentioned in this flowchart as well. But for the COVID times, this has been relaxed to 30 days. The parents have to coordinate with the agency where the child resides. For example, I am in Delhi. I register from Delhi, but I've opted for Maharashtra as my place from where I want to receive a referral. And I receive a referral from Maharashtra. This Maharashtra agency, for example, may be in Mumbai. So I have to go to Mumbai and speak to the Mumbai agency. In this COVID times, the authority has relaxed this, and all these documents, all the documents that they have uploaded at the time of registry, to be sent online to the Mumbai agency in this example, and they'll be verified based on the documents that have been uploaded on Carings. A virtual adoption committee in this case is then conducted. The adoption committee is defined in Adoption Regulations 2017, in which the DCPU of that district is the chairperson of the committee, including the superintendent, trustee, or the adoption coordinator of the agency where the child is residing, and the doctor of that agency. This completes the quorum for a agency for conducting an adoption committee. The adoption committee and the parents conduct a virtual adoption committee meeting, based on which the approval of the committee, the child is matched with the parents on Carings. Once that is done, the parents have to go to the Mumbai. For this example that we are taking, that I am in Delhi and I have to go to Mumbai to adopt this child. I will go to Mumbai and sign an acceptance. That means I would sign the CSR and the NAR of the child and give my acceptance of adopting the child. Post that, a pre-adoption foster care affidavit is made wherein I can take the child in pre-adoption foster care till the adoption order is given by the concerned court. Or once I take the child home, the agency on behalf of me files the petition in the court concern of that particular district. Now, there is a small addition to this. There are two agencies. One is a specialized adoption agency, which have been given this recognition by the state government. And second are the childcare institutions, which are registered, which are not SARS, but are linked to the nearest SAR on Carings. And children residing in CCI can be given an adoption through this SAR-CCI linkage. In case the child that has been proposed to be adopted by a PAPS resides in a CCI, then in the adoption committee, you the fourth member, the coordinator of the CCI as well. And in the petition that has been filed for this adoption, the co-petitioner would be the CCI as well. There is no opposite parties, but the SA and the PAPS and the CCI are co-petitioners to file this petition in the court. The court, after its due dwelling and consideration as per Section 61 of the JJ Act, would dispose the case within 60 days of filing, and all the hearing in the court would happen in camera. We would dwell upon the court procedures in our later sessions. After the court order has been received and a certified copy has been received by the SA would file for the birth certificate of the child. The birth certificate is stipulated to be received within 8 working days, and both of them are sent as hard copy and soft copy to the parents and uploaded on Carings as well, completing the adoption. But the main point of completion of adoption starts from the day the child went to the parents, that is pre-adoption foster care. From that date up till 2 years, 6 months each, 4 post-adoption follow-up reports will be done by the agency who did the home study of the parent, because where the parent is residing, there the child is living at present. Hence, the post-adoption follow-up has to be done at the same place where the adopted family is living. Any questions on the process, or we can move forward?
Yes, if anybody is having question regarding the process, or shall we take the end only? I think, madam, we will take all the questions in the end only.
Sure, ma'am.
Yes, thank you.
We have discussed about the post-adoption. The post-adoption follow-up is done just to check whether both the adoptive parent and the adoptee is in a harmony situation, and if they're facing any adjustment problem, then hand-holding can be done with a proper counseling given there itself so that the adjustment issues can be resolved. But in some cases, it is observant that these adjustment issues at times lead to disruption. In case if there are adjustment problems and they're not resolved or they aggravate, it might lead to disruption. Disruption, as defined in adoption regulation, says when a child is placed with a parent and before issuance of the court order is returned back to the agency. That means the court or the filing has been done, but the court has not pronounced the order. That is called disruption. So the child comes back to the agency, and the agency withdraws the filed petition, and in the disruption is processed henceforth. But there were cases wherein the adoption order was pronounced by the court and the adjustment problems aggravated and the child was returned after the court order was provided. This is called dissolution. In dissolution, the annulment of the adoption order has to be filed in the same court, the court that pronounced the adoption order, and the annulment will be filed by the parents, whereas the disruption withdrawal is filed by the agency. The annulment of the adoption order is filed by the parent. This completes the in-country process for OAS children. We will now move on to the inter-country process of OAS. I would hand over to Shalini ma'am to take you forward with this process.
A very good afternoon, everyone. So we start. Yeah, I'm really privileged to be addressing such an august gathering today. So I'll be talking about and I'll be taking you through the inter-country adoption procedure, which is the JJ Act. Section 68 of JJ Act has mandated CARA, or Central Adoption Resource Authority, to regulate inter-country adoptions and to carry out the functions of the central authority. But before we move to that, let us go for some background information regarding it, which is very, very important for inter-country adoption. So first, there was a landmark case of Lakshmikant Pandey versus Union of India, in which the Honorable Supreme Court of India had laid down few principles governing the rules for inter-country adoption and had directed the Government of India to take action accordingly. The Government of India complied with the court's directives and set up the Central Adoption Resource Agency. At that point of time, it was agency, which framed guidelines for the adoption of Indian children, codifying the safeguards set forth by the Supreme Court judgment and other related decisions by the court. Subsequently, revised guidelines for adoption of Indian children were framed by CARA in the year 1995. Another landmark in inter-country adoption was on 6 June 2003. India ratified with the Hague Convention of 29 May 1993 on protection of children and cooperation in respect of inter-country adoption. The guidelines for adoption from India were revised as per the Hague Convention and the JJ Act in 2006. Subsequently, guidelines were also revised in the year 2011 and 2015.
Sorry to disturb you, madam. Still, we are seeing the slide of in-country adoptions.
Okay, so just give me 2 minutes.
Yes, yes, madam.
Can you see us now? Background information?
Yes, madam. Yes.
Yes.
So we have talked about the landmark cases. Now I'm talking about, let's come to the JJ Act 2015. As per them, the Central Adoption, Section 68, Central Adoption Resource Agency existing before the commencement of the JJ Act 2015 has been constituted as a Central Adoption Resource Authority of India. CARA has been mandated to carry out the functions of the central authority under the Hague Convention on Protection of Children and Cooperation in respect of the inter-country adoption under Clause D of Section 68 of the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Children Act 2015. And in exercise of powers conferred by Clause C of Section 68, read with Clause 3 of Section 2 of the Juvenile Justice Care Act, CARA framed Adoption Regulations 2017, which are currently in vogue. So we will be talking about Adoption Regulations 2017, and all inter-country adoptions are occurring as per that. So, but before I get into the detailed procedure, I'll just give you an overview. So inter-country adoptions can basically be divided into or set into two parts. One is PAPs staying out of India. So they are basically NRIs, OCIs, and foreigners which are not in the country. They are registering from outside to adopt a child from India. And second is a PAP staying in India. They are basically OCIs or foreigners. They are of other Hague ratified nations who are staying in the country and they want to adopt from India. This is an outline. I will be taking it in detail, so I'll just be going through the outline fast. From out of India, the HSR and registration, that is home study report and registration of PAPs, is not done by the PAPs themselves. It is done through an authorized foreign adoption agency or the central authority of that country or any government agency. And in case there is no government agency or there is no central authority and it is not a Hague ratified nation, then our Indian diplomatic missions take up the role. Second step in this process is approval by CARA. Once registration is done, all documents come on the portal of the CARA. We scrutinize the documents and then the approval is done at the level of CARA. Once the PAPs are approved by CARA, they are then the next step is matching with the child. Now there are three ways the matching can be done. One, which Aparna ma'am, my colleague, has already told you, the referral from carings. As per the seniority and category of the PAPs, carings referral is sent to the parents. The two referrals are sent. Second way, which generally happens in inter-country adoptions, is direct choosing or direct reserving the child. It could be from two portals. One is special needs portal, where we have where with the profile of special needs children is there. AFAs can advise the PAPs to register or reserve one of those children, or from immediate placement portal. Again, we'll be talking in detail about these portals. Immediate placement portal, we have children who are hard to place. The definition would be taken up in the next session. So this is how the matching with children happen between PAPS and the child. Then acceptance by the PAPS, that is, they sign the CSR, MER and upload on the Carings portal. After acceptance, there is another very, very important step, which is NOC from CARA. I will be taking it in detail because it's a very important procedure. Then finalization of adoption by the Honorable Court, which is the final procedure. That is, adoption occurs only when the court decides that this adoption is fit. Then conformity certificate, that is Article 23 from CARA is issued. It is as per Hague Convention. Then next is the passport, birth certificate and visa. Final custody of the child is given to the PAPS, and then the post-adoption follow-up for 2 years by the AFA. Now, when the inter-country adoption is of the PAPS who are staying within India, a slight difference in the outline, PAPS register on Carings portal on their own, like the in-country adoption procedure. Home study report is done by ASA, which is closest to the PAPS. Then comes approval by CARA, that is again scrutiny of documents, matching with the child, again in these 3 ways. Acceptance by PAPS, NOC from CARA, finalization of adoption by Honorable Court, conformity certificate from CARA, passport, birth certificate, visa, final custody of child. And here post-adoption follow-up is done by the SA, or the Specialized Adoption Agency, which has done the home study report of the PAPS also. This is also for 2 years. Now, before we go on with the procedure, there are a few things which we have to understand, that the child is not directly given an inter-country adoption. As soon as a child is declared legally free for adoption by the Child Welfare Committee, such child shall be allowed to be given an adoption to a resident Indian or a non-resident Indian parents. Only Indian parents get the first this thing of getting a child. And the child may go for inter-country adoption only after 60 days if the child is below 5 years of age, after 30 days if the child is above 5 years of age or is a sibling, after 15 days if the child has any mental illness or physical disability as listed in Schedule 18. This is as per Clause 1 of Section 59 of JJ Act 2015 and Regulation 8 of Adoption Regulation 9 2000. Another very important point is that non-resident Indians are treated at par with resident Indians. So the queue is the same. Their procedure could be different, but their the referral procedure remains the same as resident Indians. Now it is the procedure. Any NRI, OCI or foreign prospective adoptive parent living in a country which is a signatory to Hague Adoption Convention like us, and wishing to adopt an Indian child can approach the AFA, that is Authorized Foreign Adoption Agency, or Central Authority, or any government agency for preparation of their HSR and for their registration in Carings. In case there is no AFA or the CA in the country, then the PAPS shall approach the government department of that country. And in case that it's also not feasible, then Indian diplomatic mission in that country takes up the role of AFA, or they register the PAPS. The AFA or Central Authority or Government Department or IDM, they get the HSR, the home study report of the PAPS done. And if they find it suitable, then they register the application of PAPS in Carings in the format along with the required documents as specified in Schedule 6. Now, these documents include their passport, their income certificate, referrals, their medical certificate. If there is a divorce in the family or anything, then divorce decrees. And one Article 5 as per Hague Convention, which defines the suitability of the PAPS. So we get an Article 5 from the central authority or government agency of that country that PAPS are eligible or suitable to adopt from India. Now, the seniority of the PAPS shall be counted from the day of the registration and uploading of requisite documents in the Carings. Second, very, very important step, which we take it very seriously, is the home scrutiny level from CARA. the home study report and other documents of the PAPs are scrutinized at the authority, CARA, in order to determine their eligibility and suitability. So once that scrutiny is done, then only the PAPs are approved for adoption from India. Once they are approved, then the profiles, this is if the PAPs are looking for normal children, the referral of that child. So in such cases, the profiles of 2 children in 2 referrals are forwarded by the carings to the AFA or the central authority. It is not given directly to the PAPs. It is sent to AFA or central authority or whichever agency has registered the PAPs, which further forwards such profiles to the PAPs concerned as per the local rules. And in case of a foreigner or overseas citizen of India, the profiles of children shall be referred to the PAPs. Now, once the profile is referred to the PAPs may reserve one of the referred children within 96 hours. It has to be, the time is more because the timelines are different. So more time is given for them to, they go through the child study report, medical examination report, they look at the photograph of the child, and if they feel that they want to reserve the child, they reserve the child within 96 hours. In case the PAPs fail to reserve any of the children within 96 hours, and the profiles of the children shall stand automatically withdrawn. If the PAPs reserve one of the children shown, they accept the child by signing the child study report, medical examination report within 30 days from the date of reservation. The CSR, MER and photograph of the child on original is sent by the SA to the AFA or central authority. In case the PAPs fail to accept the reserved child within 30 days, then the profile of the child shall stand drawn by the caring. Authority of the PAPs is relegated to the bottom. So they have to start in the queue again. If the PAPs desire to visit the SA in between these 30 days, if they want to visit the SA or look at the child or want to get that medical done again, then they can do it. After acceptance, the AFA will forward the original documents of the PAPs as specified in Schedule 9 to the SA concerned for their scrutiny. The SA, it is given to the SA also. The most important thing here is the no objection certificate from the authority and pre-adoption foster care. CARA issues NOC in favor of the proposed adoption. Once the acceptance is done, then NOC is issued. But how it is done, I'm taking it up. NOC in favor of the proposed adoption is issued within 10 days from the date of receipt of the acceptance of the child by the PAPs, and letter of approval or permission of the receiving country as per Article 5 and Article 17. Now, what does Article 17 of the Hague Adoption Convention says? It says that the PAPs are suitable to adopt. The central authority of that country has no objection in the PAPs adopting that particular child, and that child would be allowed to enter that country and stay permanently and would get the citizenship. So once we receive these documents, then only then the case is processed for the NOC. It is in compliance with Article 17C of Hague Convention on Inter-Country Adoption and Regulation. The PAPs, once NOC is issued, the PAPs may take the child in pre-adoption foster care for a temporary period within India after issuance of NOC, right? But how is the, now again, NOC committee of CARA, so the NOC is not issued by the authority only. The Honorable Supreme Court of India had directed this authority via its order dated 8 September 2010 in special leave petition number to issue NOC in the cases of inter-country adoption, which has been incorporated in the current act and regulations pertaining to inter-country adoptions. So accordingly, an NOC committee was prepared, and this composition of the NOC committee is, the NOC committee of CARA comprises of the following. One representative from AIIMS, could be from a psychiatry department, from psychology department, from pediatrics division or medical discipline, any one in one of the NOC committee. So we take it on rotation generally. One expert from social work or child development discipline, one expert from legal discipline, and one CARA representative. It is Director Program at this point of time, and in his absence, Deputy Director, Inter-Country Division. So this is the format of NOC, and 3 members form the quorum of NOC committee, and once all the members approve, then only the NOC is issued by CARA. Once NOC has been issued, then SA files an application, that is Specialized Adoption Agency. They file an application. They have received the documents from AFA. They have also received NOC. Then they file application in the court concerned with relevant documents as specified in Schedule 9 within 10 working days from the date of receiving NOC. The PAPs receive final custody of the child from the SA as soon as the passport and visa are issued to the child. We will be taking the court order or the court procedure in the next session. So that is why I skipped that procedure. The final custody is taken when the adoption order is received, and SA has filed for passport and passport, visa, everything has been arranged. Then only the final custody of the child is given. The legal procedure is the same. I'll be taking up. The only thing is that in case of PAPs habitually residing abroad and wanting the SA to represent them on their behalf, the application can also be accompanied by a power of attorney in favor of the social worker or adoption in charge of the SA, which is processing the case, and such power of attorney shall authorize the social worker to handle the case on behalf of PAPs. Passport and CARA, once we receive, we issue a conformity certificate under Article 23 of the Hague Convention within 3 working days from the date of availability of adoption order in the carings. Then CARA informs the immigration authorities and the FRRO or the Foreign Registration Office concerned about confirmation of the adoption. SA submits the application to Regional Passport Office, and the region, court directs actually the Regional Passport Office and the Birth Certificate Office to issue the passport and birth certificate within 10 days of the receipt of the adoption order. Follow-up of progress of adopted child by non-resident Indian, overseas citizen of India, and foreign PAPs is done by the AFA or the Central Authority or Indian Diplomatic Mission. It is done, we get in the first year, a quarterly report is required, and in the second year, a bi-yearly or 6-monthly report is required. Once the adoption, all post-adoption follow-up reports are received, then adoption is considered to be complete. Second is adoption by overseas citizens of India or foreign nationals of Hague Adoption Convention ratified countries living in India. Here, the PAPs register on their own, online registration. After obtaining the NOC from their embassy that they have no objection to this adoption, and once the child is adopted, the child would be getting the citizenship of the country once they reach their own country. On receipt of application along with the required documents, duly notarized, except those documents originating from India, which may be self-attested, the CARA refers the case to SA for preparing and uploading the HSR in the carings. The PAPs reserve one of the referred child within 48 hours. The procedure then remains the same after scrutiny and this. The diplomatic mission concerned also ensured that the adopted child acquired citizenship of the country of his parents immediately after adoption decree, and a copy of passport of the child in the country of the nationality of the PAP shall be forwarded to the authority and the SA concerned. An OCI or foreign PAP living in India, as the case may be, gives an undertaking to the effect that if they move out of India before completion of 2 years of adoption, they shall inform CARA about their movement, furnish their new address, and continue to send their post-adoption progress report to the authority for the remaining period. With this, I come to the end of inter-country adoption. We will be taking, as we have, the questions will be taken later, but I will hand over to my colleague, Shishir, for taking the relative adoption cases.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay. Myself Sushil Kumar, and I will explain the process of inter-country relative adoption or in-country relative adoption along with the step adoption. Okay. First, we will start with the process of inter-country relative adoption. Inter-country relative adoption is first introduced in JJ Act in 2015, and it was governed as per the provision of the JJ Act and adoption regulation along with the Hague adoption. Salim have already explained you the process of inter-country adoption, and I will explain the relative adoption only. For relative adoption, the person, the prospective adoptive parents who want to adopt their child from their relative, they can register themselves in caring through APA concern of their habitual residence. In suppose any adoptive parents who is habitually residing in USA may contact their nearest APA to register in carings. After registration from APA concern, they will upload all the requisite documents mentioned in Schedule 6 of the Adoption Regulation 2017. For this process, a person who is NRI, OCI, or foreigner citizen interested to adopt a relative child may approach their APA or central authority in the country of their residence. This country of their residence for preparation of their home study report. This will apply for the country who is Hague signatory, and the country who is not Hague signatory, the Indian diplomatic mission will responsible to register the NRI parents for in carings. Okay, after that, APA, who is responsible to register the adoptive parents, may upload all the requisite document along with the home study report of the prospective adoptive parents, and also the document mentioned in Schedule 6 of the Adoption Regulation 2017, which include the consent of the biological parents of the child to be adopted, home study report, and all the, in case where biological parents is not alive, then consent of the CWC in form of Schedule 22. In case where biological parents is alive, the consent may be taken in Schedule 19 of the Adoption Regulation 2017. Thereafter, registration of the case in carings, the case will be forwarded to Central Authority of India. It means CARA. CARA will scrutiny these cases, and after getting a scrutiny from CARA, the cases were forwarded to the DCP concerned where the biological parents are habitually resides. It means the case were forwarded to the state authority for proper verification and family and preparing the family background report as per Schedule 21 of the Adoption Regulation 2017. The DCP concerned where perhaps along with the child are habitually reside is responsible to conduct the family background report of the adoptive parent of the biological parents along with the consent of the biological parents, and they prepare a report regarding the status, financial, physical, and mental status of the biological parents, and forward these report to the state authority concerned. The DCP will also recommend the case on case basis that the child need to be adopted by their overseas relative or not. Actually, the physical assessment has been done by the DCP concerned. Therefore, it is the responsibility of DCP to verify the detail of the biological parents and send all these details to the state authority with proper recommendation. After getting a report from the DCP concerned, it is the responsibility of a state authority to verify the document provided by the DCP concerned regarding the adoption of the said child, and also verify all the document provided by DCP. And thereafter, state authority will forward this report to CARA along with their recommendation letter that they are going to approve this case or not. After getting a report from the state authority concerned, CARA will place this report to the NOC committee of CARA, which was NOC committee of CARA, and NOC committee of CARA will approve this case, that they are going to approve this case or not. After getting approval from the NOC committee of CARA, CARA will issue a pre-approval letter in all inter-country adoption cases in which the CARA required to document from PEP side. First document is Article 5 or 17. In case the PEPs are habitually residing in Hague country, then the Article 5 and 17 is prepared and submitted by the central authority of the receiving country. In case the PEPs are habitually residing in non-Hague country, then it is the responsibility of IDMA to produce and submit the recommendation letter regarding the said adoption. Thereafter, getting approved from the CARA, PEPs may file a petition before the court in the place of residence where biological parents and child are habitually resides, in the procedure through regulation 54 of the 55 of the adoption regulation 2017. They may file a adoption petition before the court along with the home study report and all the documents mentioned in Schedule 6 and the pre-approval letter issued by CARA. They will jointly file a adoption petition in the court, and after getting approval from adoption order from the court and Article 517 from receiving country, they will submit these documents in caring or to CARA. And CARA will issue NOC in this case after submission of the Article 17 or court order under JJ. Sorry.
Yes, sir. Continue, sir.
Okay. Okay. The legal procedure for inter-country related adoption is defined in Regulation 55 of 2017. In case the PEPs are habitually residing outside India, they will execute a power of attorney in the name of the biological parents or any other person who will file a adoption petition in the court in schedule 30 of the adoption regulation 2017. They will enclose all the documents mentioned in Schedule 6 along with the home study report and consent of the biological parents and a pre-approval letter issued by CARA. The PEPs in case of inter-country relative adoption will obtain an disorder from the family court, city civil court or district court where the biological parents along with the child are habitually resides. The court concerned may be, before issuing the adoption order, may also satisfied that all the conditions are stipulated in section 61 and also in section 60 of the JJ Act, and along with read with the regulation 51 to 56 are the case may be also approved. After getting a court order from the certified court order from the court concerned, and they will submit these report to the DCPU, along with also they may submit one report to the AFA concerned. Thereafter the NOC from the CARA will be issued by as per regulation 56 of the adoption regulation, in case of inter-country relative adoption, NOC from the CARA was issued in favor of the said adoption within 10 days from receipt of the court order along with the receipt of the Article 5 and 17 from the receiving country. Thereafter, as per regulation 57, conformity certificate was issued by CARA as per the provision of the Hague Convention in the format of Schedule 10 within 3 working days after date of ability of the adoption order in the caring or physically. Now we come to the process of in-country relative. In-country relative adoption is governed as per the provision of regulation 51 of the adoption regulation 2017. In case of in-country relative in caring online portal, follow the due procedure as stipulated in Regulation 55 and the legal procedure stipulated in the Regulation 55 of the adoption regulation. In case of the in-country relative adoption, some mandatory document must be uploaded in the hearing, like the consent of the biological parents or the permission of the child welfare committee in case the PAPs are not alive. Permission of the consent of the biological parents may be obtained in Schedule 19 of the Adoption Regulation 2017, and in case the child biological father or mother is not alive or the child is residing with their guardian, then the consent must be permission must be taken from the CWC concerned in Schedule 22 of the Adoption Regulation 2017. And they may also upload the residence proof in the hearings, or they may also upload the financial proof in hearing. After uploading of all the document in hearing, DCPU concerned may be responsible to verify these document in hearing and forward these report to the state authority concerned. And getting approved from the state authority concerned, CARA will issue a pre-approval letter in the case. Thereafter, the in-country PAPs may file a adoption petition before the court concerned where the biological parents along with the child are habitually reside. The adoption application is filed in the court concerned in Schedule 31 of the Adoption Regulation 2017 along with the report uploaded in the hearings. The consent of child in both in-country or inter-country adoption cases where the child is above 5 years old, the consent of the child must be taken, and in case the adoptive parents have already have one or more children who is above 5 years age, they may also give the consent of their children. In-country relative adoption cases, affidavit for adoptive parents in required in case of inter-country relative adoption in support of their financial and social status, which may be also given in Schedule 24 of the Adoption Regulation 2017. The financial and social status report may be obtained in the format in Schedule 24 and must be uploaded in the hearings prior to the approval. The prospective adoptive parents shall file an application in the competent court after getting approval from the CARA or getting pre-approval letter from CARA in Schedule 30 of the Adoption Regulation. The adoption petition must be filed in Schedule 30 of the Adoption Regulation 2017 under the JJ Act 2015. Now we will discuss the adoption by the step parent. Like in-country relative adoption case, the parent who is adoptive parents who want to adopt a child from their previous marriage, they may also register in hearing for online process, which is governed as per the Regulation 52 of the Adoption Regulation 2017. In case the parent want to adopt from a couple, step parent, one of the biological parents, and register in hearings and upload all the required document as mentioned in Schedule 6 of the Adoption Regulation. The consent of the biological parents and the step parent must be obtained in the Schedule 20 of the Adoption Regulation 2017, and these report must be uploaded in the hearing. In case the custody of the child is under litigation in a step adoption case, the adoption process shall be initiated only after finalization of the case by the court concerned. The biological parents, the step parent, shall file an application in the family and district and city civil court in case the format of the given in Schedule 32 of the Adoption Regulation 2017 along with the document provided in hearing, like consent of the biological as well as the step parent and their financial and social status report along with the proof of their residence and the consent letter and the document required to be attached in Schedule 20 of the Adoption Regulation in case applicable. Thereafter, they shall obtain a certified copy of the adoption order from the court concerned and furnish a copy of the same in CARA or online system to verification. Thereafter, they can In another case where the PAPs are habitually residing outside and they want to adopt a child from their step adoption cases, they can submit their adoption application through the central authority central authority in case they are habitually residing in Hague country. In case when they are not habitually residing in Hague country, they can file their adoption application through Indian diplomatic mission. For the purpose of the inter-country step adoption process, they can provide the document as mentioned in our circular dated 30th December 2019. Right now, we don't have any online module for inter-country step adoption process is presently not available and carries. Therefore, the central authority or IDMA is responsible to forward the adoption application for inter-country step adoption cases, along with the document mentioned in circular dated 30th December 2019. The document mentioned in the circular is the proof of residence of the biological parents and a spouse adopting the child and children, along with the proof of them being legally wedded. The consent of the biological parents and the spouse adopting the child children as provided in Schedule 20, along with the document mentioned in Schedule 20 of the adoption regulation. The document also mentioned in Schedule 20 must be submitted by the adoptive parents for further procedure. Further, for inter-country step adoption, the permission of the receiving country must be taken in form of Article 5 and 17 of the Hague Convention prior to the submission of the application. The CARA may provide a support letter after receipt of all the mentioned document of the receiving country to give the permission letter. CARA will support the inter-country step adoption only after receipt of all the document from the central authority or IDM side. Thereafter, CARA will issue a pre-approval letter for inter-country step adoption, and after that, PAPs may approach the district or city civil court or family court of the habitual residence of the child for adoption order, and they will submit the adoption order to the CARA and their central authority. Thereafter, they can take the child outside India after getting approval from the CARA in form of the NOC and conformity certificate. Now, the another process is the PAPs who are foreigner citizen. Foreigner citizen habitually residing in India. In case where the PAPs are foreigner citizen and having citizenship of another country, they can habitually residing in India. They can also adopt a child from their relative. For the purpose of inter-country relative adoption, they should obtain an NOC from their embassy. They can obtain their NOC from embassy as under Section 59, Clause 12 of the JJF prior to the submission of the adoption application to CARA. They will obtain an NOC from the embassy, and they will submit these NOC along with the document mentioned in Schedule 6 of the adoption regulation to CARA. Thereafter, CARA will scrutiny these cases and will issue forward these cases to the DCPU concerned. And after getting report from the DCPU and state authority concerned, CARA will issue the pre-approval letter in such type of cases. In such type of cases, the DCPU or the social worker of DCPU or the social worker is responsible to conduct the home study report of the adoptive parents who are habitually foreigner parents who are habitually residing in India, and submit these report to the state authority, and the state authority will forward these report to the CARA. After getting approval from the CARA side, they will file an adoption petition in Schedule 31 for inter-country relative adoption cases, and they will obtain a court order under JJ Act. Thereafter, CARA will issue the NOC and conformity certificate as per Section 50, as per Regulation 56 and 57 of the cases. Okay.
Intercountry adoption procedure and relative adoption procedure. I hand over the mic to our organizers. Thank you so much. I repeat, we come to the end of this session.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, madam. Thank you, Shishir sir. Now we will be, there are few questions relating to this topic, but actually we will take this after lunch break because few questions are relating to court procedure also and regarding operative orders also. So I think those are covering after the session after the lunch. So after that only we will take further. With this, we will end now today's session, means this session, and break of about 40 minutes. Thereafter, again we can join. So it is now 2 o'clock. We will be again joining at 2:45. You can disconnect the link and you can again join the same link, but please ensure that you are joining the same link, today's link of 10th only. Otherwise, tomorrow's link is different. So there may be possibility that you are joining tomorrow's link. So please ensure that you are joining today's link again. We will take a break of 45 minutes now. Okay, thank you.